Part 1. I discovered my husband's secret life in the basement. I always believed I knew my husband inside out. 15 years of marriage should mean there are no secrets left, right? I knew his favorite food, the way he liked his coffee, the jokes that made him laugh, even the way he tapped his fingers when he was deep in thought. But it turns out I didn't know him at all. It started small. He began taking late-night phone calls in the garage. His voice was always low, hushed, as if he didn't want me to hear. Then he started locking the basement door. For 15 years, that door had never been locked, and suddenly it was off limits. I brushed it off at first, told myself I was being paranoid. But then came the noises. Around midnight, I'd hear a strange humming sound. Sometimes whispers, sometimes even what sounded like a faint argument. It was always coming from beneath our bedroom, straight from the basement. One night I got up and tiptoed down the stairs. The whole house was quiet except for that glow of light coming from under the basement door. My heart raced as I pressed my ear against the wood. I heard him. His voice was tense, urgent, like he was either pleading or threatening someone. The next morning I asked, "What were you doing in the basement last night?" He froze, just for a second, but I caught it. His face went pale before he forced a laugh. "Oh, nothing. Just fixing the boiler. Old house problems, you know." But I knew he was lying. From that day on, the basement became forbidden's territory. The lock was always there. The key was always missing. And anytime I asked, he brushed me off or got angry. That only made me more determined. One evening, when he left for a so-called late meeting, I went searching through the drawers until I found the spare keys. My hands shook as I slid one into the basement lock. The door creaked open, releasing a gust of cold air that carried a metallic smell I couldn't place. I turned on the light and stepped down. The basement was nothing like I remembered. Gone were the boxes and old furniture. In their place were shelves lined with folders, stacks of cash tied in rubber bands, and a table covered in papers, maps, and photographs of strangers. I walked closer, heart pounding, and saw a black notebook lying open. I flipped through the pages, names, dates, large amounts of money. Some names had a red X beside them. Confused, I picked up a loose photograph. My blood ran cold. It was a picture of me, taken from outside the house, through the kitchen window while I was cooking. I gasped and dropped the notebook. That's when I heard at the front door opening, heavy footsteps upstairs. He was home, and I was in the one place I was never supposed to be. Part 2. He found me in the basement. My heart nearly stopped when I heard the footsteps above me. He was back earlier than usual. I froze, clutching the photograph in my hand, too shocked to even breathe. The basement light was on, the door unlocked, and I was standing in the middle of his secret world. The footsteps grew louder. He was coming down the hallway. My mind raced. Should I hide? Pretend I wasn't here? Or confront him? Before I could decide, the basement door opened slowly, casting his shadow down the stairs. "Emily," he said, his voice low, almost calm. "What are you doing down here?" I tried to steady my voice. "I could ask you the same thing." My hand shook as I held up the photograph. "Why do you have pictures of me? Who are these people? What the hell is all this?" He came down the stairs one step at a time, his eyes fixed on me. There was no panic in his face, no guilt, only something darker, a look I had never seen before in all our years together. "You weren't supposed to see that," he said quietly. I backed away as he stepped closer. "So, what is it then? Are you spying on me? Are you involved in something illegal? Tell me the truth, Daniel." He sighed, almost like he was disappointed, and ran his hand through his hair. "You really want the truth? Fine. But once I tell you, nothing will ever be the same. The air was so heavy it felt like I couldn't breathe. He walked to the table, picked up the black notebook, and flipped it shut with a snap. These people owe me. Some of them pay, some of them don't. And when they don't, well, let's just say that red X isn't just a mark. I stared at him, horrified. You're telling me you don't finish that sentence, he interrupted coldly. The less you know, the safer you are. I couldn't stop trembling. This wasn't my husband. This wasn't the man I thought I had married. This was someone else entirely, someone dangerous. You've been living a lie, I whispered, all these years, and I didn't even know who you really were. He finally met my eyes, and for the first time, I felt fear crawl up my spine. I warned you, Emily. Curiosity can be deadly. And then he smiled. Part 3. The man I married was a stranger. That smile chilled me more than anything. It wasn't the smile of the man who used to kiss my forehead goodnight. It was the smile of a man who knew he had complete control. Daniel, I said, my voice shaking, whatever this is, you need to stop. You can't just... He slammed the notebook onto the table, making me flinch. Stop. You think this is some hobby I can just walk away from? You think I chose this? His voice was sharp, but not desperate, almost proud. I backed toward the stairs. My instinct screamed at me to run, but my legs felt like lead. Then explain it to me, because right now, it looks like I've been sleeping next to a criminal for 15 years. He tilted his head, studying me like I was the one under investigation. Maybe you have, or maybe you just finally opened your eyes. I wanted to scream, but fear locked my throat. I clutched the photograph tighter, the one of me in the kitchen. Why are there pictures of me? Were you spying on me too? For the first time, his expression shifted. Not guilt, something else. Possession. You're my wife, Emily. Do you really think I wouldn't keep an eye on what's mine? My stomach turned. He wasn't talking like a husband. He was talking like an owner. The air in that basement felt suffocating. Every shelf, every file, every red X screamed a story I didn't want to know. I realized then that this wasn't just about debts or money. This was about control, power, fear. And I had just stepped into the center of it. I tried to sound brave. If you think I'm just going to stay quiet after seeing all this, you're wrong. His smile widened, but his eyes went cold. Then maybe you won't get the chance to tell anyone. Silence. Just his words echoing in my head. And in that moment, I knew I was trapped in a house with a man I no longer recognized. The night I finally pieced everything together, my hands wouldn't stop shaking. I sat at the kitchen table, the basement key clenched between my fingers, replaying every moment in my head. The late nights, the missing money, the strange tension in my husband's eyes whenever I asked simple questions. He thought I was blind, but I wasn't. That night, I decided I'd see for myself what he was hiding. When the clock struck midnight, I heard his footsteps creak down the stairs again. He didn't know I was awake, pretending to breathe steadily in our bed. I waited. 10 minutes passed, then 20. The hum of something electrical drifted up from the basement door. My heart was hammering so loud I was afraid he'd hear it. Finally, I slipped out of bed, careful not to let the floorboards groan, and crept toward the door at the end of the hall. The key felt heavy in my palm, like it already knew the truth I was about to uncover. I unlocked the door. The moment I stepped down, I realized the basement wasn't just storage anymore. It had been transformed. Computers lined the walls, their screens glowing with data I didn't understand. Papers scattered everywhere, and in the center of it all was a large black duffel bag. I opened it with trembling hands. Cash, stacks and stacks of it. Bundled, rubber banded, enough to buy a whole new life. And right on top of the money was a passport. Not his, not mine. A woman's. I froze. My husband had another life, another name, another woman. Then I heard his voice behind me. You shouldn't have come down here. I spun around. He was standing in the doorway, face half in shadow, eyes colder than I'd ever seen them. My throat tightened. What is this? Who is she? What the hell have you been hiding from me? He stepped closer, slow and deliberate, like a predator cornering its prey. You don't understand, he whispered. And now, it's too late. If you want me to continue this story and reveal what happens when I confront him, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. You don't want to miss part 5.
Hey guys, if you really enjoy watching my videos and want me to post such type of content daily, then please like, subscribe, and share the channel. I love you so much. Please show love.